All right, folks, welcome back to another installment of Fishy Film Fridays. Today we are discussing the film Force Majeure. It is a Swedish film from 2014 by the director Ruben Östlund, who is perhaps most famous in the United States for his third film, feature-length film, entitled Triangle of Sadness.
Yep.
We are joined today by Jay Red, dressed like a finance bro.
Yep. Get your numbers in. Get your numbers.
That is the man with the MBA in the podcast, so take him seriously, folks. And we are also joined by Tim Apple, who is cosplaying as John Fetterman, our favorite senator.
True.
Oh,
I just wish I had the brain damage.
don't stroke out this episode.
No brain damage jokes this week. I'm a little tender. Okay, so
Someone pinch
how do we
you?
like to? So, what?
Go
What'd you
on.
say?
Go
Oh,
on.
we're gonna have to cut this. You fucked up my flow. So, force majeure. Which did anyone look up what these words mean?
Yeah, it's a legal term.
What does it mean, Mr. MBA?
Oh, and potential loss.
Wait, can I try to do it first?
Yeah, but I actually want to
Yeah,
hear.
Okay, it's like in a contract, if there's extenuating circumstances, you're no longer the contract or whatever. It's dissolved because of this thing happening. Is that
Yes.
sort of the idea?
yeah. They're no longer liable in the event of an emergency.
Yeah.
Yeah, both
Irresistible
parties are released.
force.
What was that, Jared?
Irresistible force. It's like acts
Oh.
of God. So if like
Oh.
you're building, let's say a mall and a hurricane hit that area during your construction, and you're not liable for all that damage. So you can extend your contract or renegotiate it.
Damn. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you guys. You're both so smart.
I deal with that clause on
I
a weekly
Googled it.
basis in my adult life.
Well, it might be interesting for you both to know that that is not the original title, and the original title is instead tourist, meaning literally tourist in Swedish, which is an interesting thing. But that's a
Is that what
helpful
the
segue.
movies? Is that what the title was in Sweden?
Yeah, but it's like it's spelled in Sweden TURIST.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I
Oh,
don't
really?
know what hello is in Swedish. I was going to start with that.
Yeah, tell
Hello.
us.
Hey.
Is it HEJ?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I just what do you guys know about Swedes?
IKEA.
Fish?
I know about the Swedish chef, you know. You know
No.
that
Oh,
guy?
they're part of NATO now.
Like that stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, Volvo. Good cars. Good cars.
Are they Swedish? Not like.
Yeah, they're Swedish. You can get there. They do the thing like how BMW does, where they will fly you out there to go buy their car and drive it around for 2 weeks.
That's sick. I'm gonna do that actually.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And they're good cars. Good
What was
cars.
Sweden during World War II? Were they on Nazi side?
They were neutral.
Which is basically the same as being Nazis.
Nazis. Yeah.
I'm actually applying for a number of jobs in Sweden at the moment.
Docs.
Okay, so I don't know why I said that on air. Maybe we cut that.
Kids out there, help out Danny Ocean.
Yeah, help out Danny Ocean. So, given the name of the title, Tourist, in the original Swedish, that's a helpful segue into the plot of the film, which is that we begin by seeing a family of four: Thomas, Ebba, and
The
I
two
can't remember
fuckers, and that's
the
sort
two
of
little
symbolic that
fucking
it's
rugrats.
sort of symbolic that you don't know their names because
Yeah,
you know
Feels
you're
like
kinda-
having the hat all over again, kind of.
So
a bit
true.
popular in this one.
but so we see Thomas, who seems to be a businessman, and Ebba, his very hot wife. They're on vacation in the French Alps, and it is a ski vacation. We see the photos being taken of the family, and we learn they're on a 5-day ski trip. And Ebba, the wife, says that the husband works too much and that he's making 5 days for the family.
Why did you say she was hot?
She's hot? You don't think she's hot?
I mean, you see a main character woman.
Yes, that's
then
exactly how
you-
film should work and does work.
Just thought she was a nice lady.
No, she's hot.
Yeah, she seems like an okay mother. She has her, pros and cons as a person, but as we
Yeah,
will
she's a
talk
bad
later,
person, I think.
they're in a stressful situation.
Whoa. Interesting. We can assume that they're rich based on their vacationing abroad, they're skiing, right? Like, petit bourgeois at the very least. Husband's a workaholic, so that probably suggests he's pretty wealthy as well, right?
Yeah. What do you think his
Let's
job
see.
is? Do they ever say what his job is?
No, but honestly, I think he's probably the type of guy who wears the outfit that J-Rod's wearing.
That was actually part of my theme tonight. I wanted to be like Thomas in the background of the mountains. If you can guess this mountain, I will
I hope an
send you.
avalanche happens behind you and it's controlled.
I hope it's uncontrolled.
And then I'm wearing a Thomas outfit. If you can
Yep.
guess this mountain, I'll send you a bottle of your favorite spirits.
You
Mont
could be
Mart.
Thomas for Halloween.
Yeah, I could potentially.
Kind of a beta.
Oh, all right.
I love it. I love it. John's throwing the punches back this week.
I have daggers coming your way, but I am excited for Danny for you to lead this session here.
Thank you, giving me control back. So
He's stalking right now. What are you?
The film is structured in the structure of their vacation, which is to say there are 5 ski days, and we get a title card for each ski day saying which ski day it is. The main action in ski day 1, which is the very intro of the film, is we learn who they are. We see pictures being taken of the kids and the family.
I like that.
The wife looks over the photos and is very happy with the photos of the family and just the kids, but has no comment on the
Yeah.
photo of her and the husband.
I noticed that as well. That was interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what song that is that they start playing after the photo scene? The violin.
What? Tell us, Jared.
Concerto G minor, The State.
By whom?
Oh, I forget who that is.
You fucker. You can't give us a fun fact and then leave out the important part.
Well, dude, it's
Bach.
It's Bach!
I think it is. Yeah, it is.
Nice. Okay.
But did you have any comment on that music there?
No, do you?
I mean, I had heard it before, so I was like, oh, they're doing this song,
Well,
it's a motif throughout the film, right? It repeats?
Yeah, but you know what the state means in French?
Sorry, say it one more time.
The state?
No. Tell us.
Summer.
Summer?
Yeah, which I thought that was kind of interesting because this is a winter-based film.
It could be summer, though, because they're on vacation.
That is, yeah, I don't know enough about the French Alps.
Yeah, I don't either. Okay.
Yeah.
The other major thing that we see in ski day 1 is that the son throws a temper tantrum, and the father is primarily concerned during this temper tantrum about his skis being damaged.
Oh, you think so?
I thought so. This is the first temper tantrum where the boy is stomping.
Right,
and
on the
mom's like,
machine,
he's
and then
hungry.
she's like, oh, he hasn't eaten anything.
Right.
He was hangry. I've seen tantrums like that on a regular basis.
Yeah, from me primarily.
How do you ski?
I mean, what?
Are you a skier? Any of you ski family?
I skied one time and it was not fun.
I've never skied.
A lot of what's going on here is something you guys have never done, like a ski trip or ski resort like this, really.
I have once, yeah. Not a resort, but a ski trip, yeah.
Interesting.
You guys say I'm bourgeois, and you guys are going on ski trips every winter.
I went once.
I just think yours is probably a lack of coordination.
What, my lack of enjoyment of it?
No, for Tim primarily.
Oh.
Dan, I could also see you struggling a little bit. If you fall down once, I could see you being too pissed off to continue.
I didn't have the body control, and I wonder if I could now that I do more athletic pursuits. I wonder if I could ski better now, but at the time I didn't know how to manipulate my body properly.
Yeah, I think
Danny,
athletics, I think you could do a lot better.
Yeah.
Danny, I thought you were like a Razor scooter kid, so you had sort of that
I was a Razor scooter kid, but skiing requires intense leg control.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really understand what it meant to
control
flex
those damn
certain
things.
muscles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, the other thing that we see on ski day 1 is that the family takes a nap together. Very cute scene, I would say, right? They're all taking a nap in their little matching
long johns.
underwear.
I was I mean, personally, I don't even like to nap without a blanket. I like to have a little blankie.
That's actually a good take. I'm with you there. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was thinking, get a blanket on them.
Yeah, get the long johns off and get under a fuzzy blanket.
But you kind of like get this first day, especially you like the pacing is so slow. And like even this sleep scene, it feels like it goes on forever. Like you really watch them sleep.
It was
Yes.
over 60 seconds. I timed it. It was absolutely wild. But
Do
I
we
did
think anything about that timing, or are we just noticing?
no, like that is I noticed that. That was one of my notes. And along with that is nothing better for a hanger tantrum than a family cuddle. So you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And right, he like looks at his phone. She's like, don't look at your phone because it's his work phone, obviously. And he like does
Yep.
it anyway. So he's obviously sort of another evidence that he's
She
just a
needs to
busy man.
understand what's paying for this trip.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
they get him 360 days a year, and she asks for 5.
Oh,
He's
did she say
definitely a
that?
workaholic.
Oh, they're Europeans. They aren't no.
So he works
It's
on the
like
weekends?
it's like holiday like 1 of like 7 for the year.
I don't know, but the Northern Europeans are very different than like the Southern Europeans.
They work even less.
No, I think they work more.
Ask
All
Well,
those sovereign
ChatGPT.
wealth funds, you
we're
know what I
talking
mean?
like Southern Europeans. You're talking like Italians and the Spanish.
I mean, yeah, they're sleeping.
Right,
They don't.
exactly. But then I like these guys are like basically like German adjacent, you know what I mean? But less social skills often.
Yes, very less.
So it makes them, I think, worse in
Yeah,
terms of
there's.
work-life balance.
It is an interesting. This whole film is sort of interesting look at like the social cues of the Swedes because they don't often say what they're feeling or they bottle things up and then it sort of never gets solved. You know, that's at least
Well,
that's what
could that
I
just be
took away.
the cultural barrier that not barrier. Is that a culture characteristic that we even have? We bottle things up.
Yeah, 100%.
Is there something you bottle up often?
I mean, sure, rage, but I think it's in a different way. Like I don't know.
Well, I think it's interesting the way that, and we'll get to this at some point, but it seems like they're very formal in the way that they voice their complaints. Like they'll just bring it up at dinner and ask people for their
Yeah,
opinions, like it's a business meeting, whereas Americans would bottle it up and then explode.
in
Yes.
privacy.
Yeah,
This and Teachers Lounge, I think, approach emotions in a very similar topic or similar.
interesting. Yeah.
What's the right way to do it?
I actually like their way.
Yeah, well, we'll get it. One of my discussion questions is about the way that they discuss one of the situations. But let's get into the
Keep going
contents
from
of
day
it, then we
one.
can discuss the ramifications. So let's move on to Ski Day 2. This
Oh,
is the rising action. Sorry, what,
ready?
Jared?
This was on day 1 when they
Yes.
went to bed. Notice their dental hygiene.
They're all doing it together, and they all got electric
Yo,
toothbrushes.
these bitches got Sonicares they brought
Yeah,
with.
those are expensive.
They got on a flight. They didn't take a train from Sweden, so they had that in carry-on luggage. That's some wealth. Not just checking your dental hygiene, but check your damn privilege, you Swedes.
Wait, do you not use an electric toothbrush?
Nah, man. Oh man.
Really?
I mean,
Ohio hasn't gotten that technology yet. They don't
John,
have
what do
it.
you use?
I use like an electric, but it's like a disposable electric.
I used to
What the
use
guys,
Sonic.
they're like $25.
I don't like them. They're not that great. I get
They're
better on a manual. I get my gum line better.
No,
And then,
see, I thought this and then I started using them and my teeth felt cleaner.
I don't know.
I think you're crazy for this. For $25, I have like a name brand one.
No,
I
but
can't remember the
these
name.
are nice ones that the
Those are
family's using.
Sonicares. Those
Yeah.
are
Okay, should I check my fucking?
check your luggage and check your privilege.
I'm gonna check my toothbrush. Is
You
what I'm
said
gonna
this
do.
movie doesn't take place in Sweden. I thought it did.
No, it
It's
takes
in the
place.
French Alps.
Oh, it's in the French Alps.
That's why you hear some French. Oh my god, I have a
Oh,
Philips
okay.
Sonicare.
Oh, you have a
See how
Sonicare
much-
for 20. You did not get that for $25, man.
Dude, I did.
He probably
Maybe
got
it's
a
more.
used. He probably got a used one.
Facebook
No,
Marketplace.
it's not used.
Imagine getting a used toothbrush.
It's a Philips Sonicare.
Interesting. Maybe
They're
they are.
$109 on Amazon.
No
right now.
fucking way.
Yeah.
Whoa. Dude, we're doing some great content for Sonic.
Maybe I need to check my privilege at the door.
Well, there's
I
another one.
didn't know I was
There's
using a
another one that's
$100
$50.
toothbrush.
It depends which kind you have, but there's one that's $50.
It's a Philips Sonicare.
Is it white?
It's black.
Oh, that's a $109 one.
No
Whoa.
fucking way.
Platinum Edition,
Are you joking, John?
No, brother.
brother.
I'm truthing.
This is insane. Okay.
All right, day 2.
Now day 2, yes. This is the rising action. What do we see, boys? What happens day 2?
They're at the lunch,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
which
There's a
that patio is amazing.
Yeah, insane view.
There's a place to die. I'd like it to be there.
It
Whoa.
felt some of the scenes of the mountain of the shots, it sort of looked very green screen, very
Yes.
fake.
Yep.
I mean, this was one of them where it was like, this doesn't look real. But
This
I
looks
mean,
like
But I think it might have been real.
no, there's absolutely no way.
You don't think so?
There's so many multiple shots like this that Tim brought up that are just look so terrible green screen, especially for 2014. Like, I get it that this was a smaller, more independent foreign film, but like, if you want to be taken seriously as a first world economy, Sweden,
yeah,
He always takes it back to
I know.
nationalism.
That's
It's
so
crazy.
weird.
oh, like
He did the same thing with Hungary.
Anyways,
if you want to be taken seriously.
so what happens at the lunch? What happens at the lunch?
The biggest
fucking-
event of the film.
Well, they had been
So
teasing
tell
up.
me about it.
They had teased up until this point that they do these controlled charges, explosions on the mountain. Like it would happen throughout the night, and then you hear it again, and they do another controlled avalanche, right? And it comes at the family. Everybody's taking video of it, and they start bugging. Everybody starts bugging. It's crazy. It's coming closer. It's coming closer. And wait, I forget what happens next. Oh, the
It came
dad.
very close and it dusted them.
It does them, but for a second, you see the dad, like right before it happens, like push people out of the way because he is trying to get inside. He is really scared.
But what he did is something I would see Danny and you both do is he just didn't push people out of the way. He grabbed his phone. Ah.
You have to call for help.
Oh yeah, because when you're buried, the phone's gonna be good, not your crying kids.
So yeah,
Priorities.
But I noticed the guy immediately. I don't know. Did you guys like notice it immediately? Like, oh, he was
Yeah.
running away.
Yeah, they were.
well, this is my
definitely-
second time watching, but yeah, I noticed it.
First time watching, I was like, he fucked up, and like you sort of that. Like I then knew I was like, that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah,
Which is cool. I thought they did that well by like not being obvious about it. Like other movies would like zoom in on him like running away or whatever.
Yeah, or make him like yell something that would give it away, or yeah.
I thought they. All right,
You thought it was obvious.
I think you're giving them too much credit. I was eyeballing that the whole time because they're like trying to play it off like he was being cool, filming it. No, it's fine, kids. It's
Right.
fine.
Oh,
And
that's
then
true.
he's the one who's
I think it's significant that at first he's taking a photo and reassuring his wife and like kind of like minimizing his wife's fears, and then
Yeah.
he's the one that totally freaks out.
which the minimization of wife's fears do come into play later, which I do like that character evolution.
I
Yeah.
do like when he walks back to the table too, like, and it's silent.
Yeah.
So here's some bullshit you notice in that scene though. So you think like this whole thing, like people are all panicking. Like I think the only people that didn't get away from the dusting was the kids and the wife, and everyone else was still running. You come back,
Yeah.
every table acts like it's untouched. And I get it, the avalanche didn't hit them, but those people were pushing each other over, pushing
Yeah.
tables. Every glass is upright. Terrible continuity.
Well, that might be what it's like. I mean, I've never been in an avalanche. Like, probably the
Neither were
outskirts
they. But the people ran away like they were.
Yeah.
So the main point is that the avalanche turns out to not be a big deal, and the dad saves himself and leaves the family behind.
Fight or
right?
flight.
Yeah. Fight or flight. Yep. 100%. Then it cuts to an awkward silence on the ski lift afterwards. Do we remember that?
Yes, I like that. The ski lifts were always uncomfortable scenes.
Always.
Which ski lifts are uncomfortable in real life too. When you have to sit
Yeah.
next to a stranger and shit.
Yep.
They're scary to me. I don't like them.
That's your Jewish disposition.
Probably.
Sorry. First discussion question of the night. What would you do if an avalanche came towards your family?
Who's to say? You know, nobody knows what happens when you're at this life or death situation.
We know what you do. You're talking.
Oh, and you'd be like Army General. You'd grab everybody and you jump 50 feet in the air and save everybody.
I would flip the table and use the table as a coverage, just like as if you're underneath the table during a bomb.
Jared is such the Game of Thrones redhead beard guy. It's not even funny.
True.
Oh, I would just
he
definitely
is.
act totally rationally, and I would have a built-out plan, and I would save everyone, and I'm the biggest tough guy.
Yeah, what is that guy's name?
I don't remember his name, but
I like that
I'm going
character.
to refer to him throughout
He
this
like
as
gets
the Game of Thrones
abused for
guy.
like 17 episodes. Right? We're talking about that guy who gets whipped?
No, he's not the guy that gets whipped. He's like one of the wildlings.
Oh, Thormund.
Yeah. Okay, so awkward silence on the ski lift, and then they're getting off the ski lift. They're putting their skis away before entering their little apartment, and the wife doesn't help the husband out with the kids with putting the skis away. You remember seeing that?
Yep. Very
And this
passive.
is the point of the film where the body language, I would say, starts taking over like the majority of the
Conversing.
communication that's going on between the family. Would you agree?
Yes. And it takes a
Yeah.
lot for this dad to notice something's off.
Well, and he does the classic move. He goes, "Is something wrong?" And she goes,
Uh-huh.
"No, I'm okay. I'm okay." Buddy, you know that means something's wrong.
If you're asking the question, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's over. You just
Yeah.
threw in the deck.
Yeah. 100%. I also noted that at this point, when the nap scene, they're all wearing their matching blue long underwear, and now the wife is in purple at this stage when they undress. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but you know me, I love my colors in movies.
Mm.
I think purple is to show her mood.
No, I think it's just that she now is not on the same page
Wait,
as everyone
is this
else.
when they're at the dinner with the other couple?
Not yet. We're getting there.
Oh, okay.
We see the creepy housekeeper who randomly shows up a bunch of the time, and he goes, "Oh, a bunch of skiing today," and they're like, "No," and the kids
Love
seem a
that
little bit
guy.
upset. Yeah,
Love that character.
and
That
then
would be Jared. That looked like Jared.
And then we have the great classic scene of parenting and a little bit of John Wolfe representation where the children throw the parents out of the room and want to watch the iPad by themselves.
They're
How do we feel
pissed.
about that part?
I related to the kids. I thought they were onto
Terrible
something.
parenting to let your kids throw you out of your hotel room that you're
Oh,
paying for.
no, you fucking. They just needed to lay down the law. But
That room's minimum like €500 a night, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like there's multiple rooms. It's like insane. There's a kitchenette.
I think
Yeah,
you might even refer to that as a chalet, not even a room.
Oh yes, that's great.
I'm not sure, but maybe.
But I almost through the beginning, it's like they don't seem to really like their kids very much, or
Overly
like,
affectionate. I don't know. I think
not even if they're not affectionate. They're like
they're
cold
sleeping
with
in the
them.
same bed. They're cuddling. I know the photos are forced.
But it seems like it's like they're making transactions. Like it's just not a real. It doesn't feel like a real family to me. I don't know.
I don't know.
There's
How
no
would your
love.
family be on this vacation, Tim?
We'd be laughing. There's no laughing. There's no ha ha ha. There's no fun
Oh,
times.
80%
I think they're
of the
Swedish.
film,
I think that's part of it.
Yeah,
No.
80% of the film, they're dealing with the post events of a near death experience.
Not near death.
For them, they thought it was near death. It's
Yeah.
them that was as if someone held a gun to their head.
When the
Yeah,
kids
basically.
throw him out of the room, is it because they're mad at the
Yes.
dad because if he didn't save the day?
Well, that's kind of left unclear, I would say.
I think it's
I'm
built.
not sure.
I think the kids recognize that as well, especially the son.
Yeah, I think they pick up on that there's unhappiness or something went wrong, but I don't know if they could verbalize like our dad abandoned us.
Yeah. They just
You
felt
know?
it.
Yeah. Like when you could tell your parents were fighting even if you didn't hear an argument, you know?
Which of your parents were the ones to run away during the avalanche?
Which of my parents would run away? I don't know. Oh my God. No way. Sorry, baseball.
I saw it as well.
Freddie Freeman hit another one. It's
He's hot.
It's 4 straight games. I don't know what parents would run away. Both of them.
Interesting. Both of them is a crazy answer.
Which
I don't
one
think either of mine would run.
What about you, Danny or Jared?
I think both mine would be too oblivious to what's happening. One would be too deep in the wine, and the other one would be too deep in their nonsense.
Damn, roast.
Yeah.
So I think that we will get to a point later on in the film where someone suggests that there might be a cut and dry way to distinguish between who would run and who would stay, but we'll get to that later. Now we get to the dinner scene. which John was very excited to talk about.
I like this scene.
Yeah,
I thought it was
so
pretty
this
good.
scene we see Thomas and Ebba at a meal with a loose friend of
Emma's
Ebba's
friend, yeah,
and an presumably American guy that she's picked up on the ski mountain and they're
yep,
fucking or something.
yeah, they're hooking up.
Yeah,
Kind of an ugly dude. If if he's getting
yes.
if he's getting strange on the ski trip, you guys want to go to French Alps soon?
Yeah, seriously. So what do we see at this scene? What happens at this scene?
Well, they are having the casual conversation, they are asking about how was your day, and they come up how it was eventful, and then Ebba and Thomas give their versions of how they saw the avalanche occur, and then
Right. And the wife starts laughing uncontrollably as the husband tells the story.
yes,
Yeah.
because she's been waiting for this moment all day to hear his
Yeah.
version. And then once she gets to the part that they say he ran away, they switch the conversation to Swedish. So the American's oblivious of what's happening now, but then it turns into a very heated conversation.
Yeah.
But her friend is hearing it and she's trying to diffuse it a little bit. And the husband's trying to find other reasons to say he did not run away.
Right.
Like he was in ski boots, so he could not run.
Couldn't run. Yep. That's his main defense, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, because she's like, "What do you mean you can't run in ski boots?"
It is tough to run in ski boots. I will give him that.
But they weren't attached to skis.
What?
They're just boots, aren't they?
No.
No, they're like big. They're kind of clunky because they like
Yeah.
have to strap into the skis in a certain way. It's like,
It's
yeah.
tough to run in them. Which
But you can. And in fact, we see him run in ski boots later on in the movie. But
which also
So-
makes me suspicious.
I think I have a number of discussion questions here. First of all, do we think that the husband is lying, or is to the people sitting with him at the table, or is he lying to himself?
I think he's lying to himself.
Huh.
I think. Oh, he's definitely lying to himself.
Yeah.
So you think his version? He thinks his version is the truth.
No,
He's not trying to like
no,
save his honor.
No, he's covering his ass. He knows what he
That's
did is
not
wrong.
himself then.
Oh, he's lying to everybody else.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
That's what I meant.
So we have different opinions there. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I think I'm with John on this one. Yeah. Yeah. I think he's lying to everyone else and he knows what he does wrong and he's trying to cover his ass and look like a man.
Yeah.
But it's possible he's lying to himself and he believes his version. It's hard to say. Because he says, I was wearing ski boots. I couldn't have run.
What do you
well,
guys make of the? Oh,
go
sorry.
on.
No. I was gonna.
I think later on when we see a very cathartic experience from him, I think that's why I believe he was lying to himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What did you guys make of it? Were they at dinner with like an American? Was that an American?
Yes.
We covered that.
I know, but
Stop watching the game, John.
I'm paying attention.
This isn't the snooze fest that you put us through the other week. This is a high speed conversation.
Well, it's because like there's multiple people talking. It's not just like one person.
Oh my God. Stop saying shit that you're going to have to cut out later and then complain about and take a week to edit. Okay. Next. The wife also confronts his lie in public in front of another couple, which is very dramatic. I
Yes.
was wondering if your girls ever called you on your bullshit in front of other people.
No.
Not to that severity.
And there would be a discussion.
Yeah, because like that's some shit that you handle behind closed doors, in my opinion.
But maybe
Are
this
we
is
in
how the
agreement?
Swedes do it. This is maybe how the Swedes get things done.
Well, and
Yeah,
like
but it's like so out of pocket.
he's openly having like an affair with this American guy, and I'm assuming Thomas knows like she's married. So maybe this friendship or how these relationships work is people are okay with those types of conversations.
Yeah. And then the woman that Ebba's friend sort of tries to help out Thomas, which is sort of a consistent theme, is that when they bring in a third party in the film that asks their opinion, the third party tends to say, well, it's more complicated than you think, Ebba. Maybe Thomas was fine. The French woman, or not French, I always think she's French, but she's not French. Ebba's friend says, oh, it's one of those situations where you don't know how to react. You might call that a force majeure.
Oh,
right. And so maybe we can ask, did he really do anything wrong? Maybe we can't control our reactions to things like this. That's what
Right.
she is trying to make us think, right? What do we think? Can we control our reactions to these sorts of things?
I don't think so. Like,
They all thought they were literally gonna die.
I agree with that premise because it's probably really scary, and you do get into fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to hold on the fight or flight when we get to Christopher, the guy from Game of Thrones conversation, because he digs into fight or flight a lot.
Right? He sort of makes the same point later.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Which is the only argument you really can make. I mean, what?
But you might think, I don't know, it's hard because sure, maybe we can't control our reactions, but on the other hand, she couldn't control her reaction either, and she protected the children. And so even if that's true, maybe he still looks like a little bit like a beta.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a beta. Like deep down, he is a beta.
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty alpha of a vacation for people.
Yes,
I mean,
Jared,
plenty of
once again
successful
reminding
rich
us that
people.
masculinity is defined by a bank account and not any actual qualities of human
I
development.
mean, yeah,
I
look
like
at like
that talk.
Musk. Like he's a beta.
Yeah.
Dude, he's
Bill
dark.
Gates, the biggest beta to ever walk this earth.
You think you're an alpha?
When did I say that?
I don't know. This is some big talk accusing others of being a beta.
Well, there's
Yeah,
another
it's
level that
far
you're not
harder.
aware of. I'm Sigma. I'm above the whole thing. Like there's alpha, there's beta, and then there's above it all, and that's where I live.
He's gone.
You would
Be
you
careful.
wouldn't
You might knock that curtain rod off the wall.
Okay.
Might lose some
Let's relax.
history deposit.
So then eventually the two after dinner they like sort of make up, right? It's like, oh, it's okay. Let's just agree to disagree. You know, that's sort of the line that they
Get
take,
through the
right?
night. Yeah, I
which
think
is
they're
hilarious because she
good night.
just doesn't follow that rule at all.
And they hug outside of the hotel room, correct?
Yeah, and the janitor sees them again, right?
Yep, janitor sees them, lights up a cigarette, I believe.
Love it, love it. That's a smoking break, which I was annoyed because they're like, "Can you give us privacy?" One in English, which I thought was rude.
Well, that was later, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
There's another scene where they're like, "Oh, we want to talk in the hallway," and they're like, "Can you give us privacy?" And
Yeah,
then,
I think it is later.
and then it cuts. You don't see what they talk about.
Oh.
I thought that was so rude of like not knowing your privilege. Like this is a service worker. This
He's peeping
I mean,
Tom.
you can't. I think you have the right to ask people for. He was peeping on them, like it wasn't like he was just there.
he was facing the whole direction the whole time, and he was just having his 5 minutes of smoke break after a long day of dealing with other people's bullshit.
Who's shocked that Jared's siding with the creepy janitor?
Because that's who he
was
related to.
Okay, and then the husband checks his phone
He
mid
doesn't
makeup hug.
discriminate.
The husband checks his phone during the makeup hug, and then the wife starts the argument up all over again.
Oh,
Right?
does he check his phone?
I
Yeah,
didn't
he
catch
does.
I didn't notice. I was too busy checking my phone.
Which raises, which for me raises the question: is she actually mad about the avalanche and his reaction to it, or is she mad about his obsession with work?
I mean, this is the straw that broke the camel's back, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's even his work. I think she might just believe he's a selfish person.
So it's like both of those are symptoms of something even bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super.
They use the bathroom together after the argument, and
Yeah.
it suggests they haven't really solved anything.
You ever been in a bathroom like going one or two while you're fighting with your significant other?
I was going to actually bring this up, and I haven't yet, and I don't think I wrote it down. There is nothing more dehumanizing than it being in a shouting match and you're undressed. Like you just got out of the shower or something,
Yeah.
and you're naked, and you're like trying to scream at some girl, but your flaccid dick is like hanging between your legs.
Yeah.
You guys have experienced this?
I sometimes use my beer belly to like show force. Like I feel like a gorilla, like pumping my chest out sometimes, but it's really just a gut.
When you're in a naked fight?
Yes.
Okay. John, what do you do in a naked fight? Do you dress yourself?
I've never had a naked fight, and I hope I
Seriously?
never do.
He doesn't see his significant other naked. Well,
Please.
Wait, you've
Step
never had a
inside my
naked
house
fight,
and
John?
step inside my house, Jared. The things
You've
you'll
never
see.
had a naked fight?
When me or them?
Even post coitus or something?
Yeah,
No.
post-coitus.
No, we don't.
I remember a story about you in college that
This
was
is
a
all getting cut
post-coitus
if this is going to be.
argument.
The drone, was that this night or is that day number 3?
I'm not
That
sure.
drone shot pissed me off though because it was like such bad green screen in the
Yeah,
background.
no, that was the ugliest shot in the movie.
That like it took me out. I thought they were trying to do like a cute Wes Anderson thing for a moment, like, oh, we're gonna
Yeah.
purposely make like silly looking backgrounds that like
Oh, interesting.
try
Well,
to
for a
isolate
second,
the movie,
I
but
was like, that's an alien spaceship. I thought it was an alien.
Yeah, the first cut to the drone, it's very unclear what's going on.
yeah. And then also as a drone pilot, dude, the Europeans would flip the shit out if you're launching a drone from your balcony like that.
Oh yeah, you think so?
That's hard to do. I'm surprised that guy was doing that.
Okay.
He's a good flyer.
No, that's also a shitty drone when you get a close look at it. Mm-mm.
On the topic again of the naked fighting, another weird thing that they do is they step out of the hotel room to fight. And in fact, they do it in the hotel hallway and they do it in their underwear. How much time do you guys typically spend in the hotel hallway?
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Never even take a phone call.
Especially in
Never even take
underwear.
a phone call. And they are standing out there like it's their like back patio where they can yell and no one will hear them.
These are bad people. These are bad tourists. People
Yeah.
say Americans are bad tourists. The Swedes.
No, they were making themselves at home. It's so rude.
It
Yeah.
was crazy to be out in public like that in your undies, like tight undies.
Fuckers should have brought their Sonicare toothbrush and put on max vibration setting and just put that out there too to wake up all the neighbors. Yeah, feel like you're at a Motel 6 with their type of manners.
Yeah, the
Ugh.
only reason to go out in a hotel hallway is to quickly put the room service tray outside the door really, really quick. And that's like,
No one sees how many treats you had.
yeah. Or you run to the ice machine, you get a bunch of ice.
Right.
Like I've walked around a hotel hallway in my underwear like brief moments before, but
I don't think so. I don't think I would do
I
that.
never have. I would just put on pants.
What if you run into a pretty lady when you're doing that?
well, then she gets to see your nice undies. Or torn
Can't
up.
argue with that logic, honestly.
Bro, I know there's holes in your underwear.
Oh yeah, I've been having that issue. Like, I stopped buying my underwear off Amazon because of that.
Jesus Christ.
Hanes via Amazon, via the Hanes you get at Kohl's, huge difference.
Dude, stop wearing Hanes overall. What is wrong with you?
All right, support.
John, what underwear brand are you rocking?
I don't think I have a specific brand, but right now I'm wearing Lacoste.
Oh shit.
Dude, this guy.
He's an Italian tourist.
No.
I mean, they got the crocodiles, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, Lacoste. Yeah.
Can we go to day 3 now?
Yes, let's do day 3. What day 3 begins with what?
Then
The wife asks to ski by herself.
Yes. Which is kind of scary and dangerous, especially at a resort like this where you can be on a run where you're the only one out there, as we see.
Okay. Some skiing expert Jay Red weighing in.
Very, very big red flag right there, especially a day after a near-death experience.
Well, this was another.
And other red flags, she puts on some lipstick to go ski by herself.
Yes. Oh, yes, I caught on that. And that's when she had that conversation same day with her friend, which I'd like to respect that.
Yes, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
This was
the husband also offers up his credit card to her. I guess maybe as a safety precaution or maybe as a bribe, and she says, "No thanks, I have my own." Which is 2 major cucking moments right there.
Right, she is self-sufficient.
Not having a joint account. Oh, good smart move on his end.
That's true. I saw this as another evidence of like she doesn't really like the kids. She doesn't like if you're on vacation with your family. Like, I mean, I guess she spends a lot of time with the kids, but then he goes like, "I'd like to ski by myself too." It's like they both kind of want to get away from the family,
which goes to the later conversation. Can we get to her scene with her friend?
Yeah, go for it, Jared.
So she ends up when we hit up while she was skiing by herself, she like lowered the bar on that other people that were skiing.
Right.
And busted up their head.
That's not that important.
Well, no, I thought that was actually important.
Tell us.
I thought it was selfish behavior first off.
Yeah.
She really apologized for it.
Well, so she's like unwilling to sacrifice her own needs for these strangers, right? And it's like she's no longer under these like family obligations. So she just like, fuck it. Like, I'm out for myself. I don't care about social responsibility. I'm just going to close this thing. Like, this is me time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
She's just
Well, I
like
think that's
so
the same thing going on with the skiing alone thing, which is like part of her anger is that, and this comes out in later conversations, is that she is sort of held back by her family. And this it definitely comes out in the conversation that Jared wants to get to with her and her friend. But like skiing, like it's one of those activities where you don't want to be with someone who's worse at it than you because it kind of harshes your mellow.
It
right,
does.
like
And
golf.
she wants to be free from the family that is like
You're there
holding
to
her
blaze
back.
your own trail.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Oh, I like
Okay,
that.
Jared, tell us about the woman, the
So
conversation with
they
Eva's
end up
friend.
popping. She rejoins her friend, who I would be real curious why that friend was there coincidentally the same time as her family on vacation.
Yeah, left totally unexplained.
Yeah, no answer to that. But background on her friend, it's the one they had dinner with the night prior, so she was there for the argument. And she's there just kind of hooking up with other men. But she is married and she has children, right? Or am I thinking of the other guy?
I believe she does, yeah.
She has children, and so they're
She said
having
she
a
left him at home. She, you know,
yeah.
she's like,
So she brings up that she's on vacation for herself, and it's a
Yeah.
break from her kids, and she like kind of questioned Ebba on like wait, Ebba's right, her name, right? Yeah,
Yes.
Ebba on whoa, don't you ever want to have a break from your kids? And she kind of answers or lies, at least to her and probably to herself, that she sees vacation with her kids as good, as she doesn't need a break from them as much.
Mhm.
But I believe that Ebba is jealous of her friend the entirety of this, because then she starts getting the conversation of how she can be okay with, having affairs and having these short relationships while she's still married.
Right.
And she tries to say, I could never imagine this. I don't understand how you justify this in your mind, essentially.
Yeah.
But I think the whole time, based on her wanting to be alone, based on the lipstick, and just her mannerisms, I think she's jealous of her friend. And I think that's partially a reason why she invited her or told her about this vacation, I suspect, in the first place, is that she wanted a possibility to have a person out there to potentially allow her to go wild on this trip if an opportunity arose.
Well,
Yes.
I don't
She
know about
almost
the last part. I'm definitely with you that she's jealous. I think she's wondering if she's made a
right.
mistake having her life
And
that's
then
like this domestic bliss.
she really lashes out, and
Yeah, there's anger. She's like angry at her friend for being poly, basically.
yeah, and for
Yeah.
not like owing up to her responsibilities as a mother.
Right. Right. Yeah, very interesting part there. And it sets the groundwork for what becomes a larger, I think, discussion of sexual politics that comes out later, I think. Yeah.
She's
Mm.
almost yelling like at her husband through that too, where
Yes.
she's like mad at her for not caring about her family. And it's like that's what she feels about her husband too, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Then we cut to the son running in ski boots, which disproves the father's theory that you can't run in ski boots. Very
Children's ski
funny.
boots are different.
What?
Children's ski boots are different.
Oh my God, shut the fuck up. And then the son says, I'm afraid you guys are going to divorce.
You ever been in that moment in your life? Like,
Well, we know one of us.
you don't need to dox who it is, but
I mean, yeah, but you don't really like there's not a
like the moment where you could run out of your room or like crying. Are you divorcing after you see a parent's fight or hear it?
no, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I never
I
done
had a
that.
moment around like maybe age 7 or 8 where I thought like a fight was turning into a divorce.
Well,
And you stopped it, you put an end to that. You said
No, I remember I wrote on the back of my mom's windshield that in like the dirty back windshield that said, "Mom, please don't divorce Dad."
no.
I don't know how long she drove around with that on. I've been dragging me like, Mom, please don't divorce Dad. Like 2004 Ford Explorer. Like,
oh no.
so no one else had that moment in their life.
No, I can't
Nah,
say it.
bruh.
Yikes.
If you guys
Sometimes
have-
those things sneak up. Sometimes they sneak
And
up on you. You know,
cut
it's
to
not.
better help ad. That is
God damn.
so ridiculous.
Might have worked though.
I think they're still together.
Yeah.
They're
Yep.
still together.
Uh,
Then
Ugh.
we see Ebba shitting in the woods, and
what?
she
Peeing
sees
or
her
she's
family.
peeing?
She's peeing. It's hard to tell.
Oh,
Why
These
would she
women.
take a shit?
So she's using the bathroom in the woods, and she sees her family ski by without her, and she starts to cry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure what the point of that scene was, to be honest with you, but maybe you guys have some
Regret?
thoughts. What?
Regret.
Regret.
You're expelling your emotions, but also your waste.
Okay.
Well, no, that's you know, she's watching from afar. She's like viewing from the third person, right? Like peeping on them, and that's just like showing her struggle again. She's lost in this pulling at two strings.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I really wish the janitor custodian guy was there. It's smoking.
Just washing.
Privacy?
She's sort of contemplating like going to the family. Like she right then could have been like, wait up, wait up. You know, like she could have done something.
Yeah, definitely she could have. But then she would have been holding them back, ironically.
Maybe, yeah, for like a second.
At least she wasn't holding back any urine. At least she got that out.
Oh, Daniel thinks she was taking a big shit.
Yeah,
Well, it's a squatting motion. I'm not familiar with female anatomy.
how females piss in the open.
Yeah, I know.
He's like, why didn't she pull out her dick and pee?
And
Good
then
Lord.
the next major part of Ski Day 3 is the dinner scene, where Thomas and Ebba have another dinner party despite their marital discomfort. And this dinner scene is with the Game of Thrones redheaded beard guy
In their room.
and his young blonde girlfriend.
He's only 20.
Oh,
She's
I didn't even
20,
realize
really.
that was the actor. I'm such an idiot. That's the same actor.
The same guy, yeah. And immediately the redheaded beard guy, his virility is
his
on
name's
display.
What's his name? Like Fanny? Or no, the girl's name's
I don't think they give a name to either.
Fanny and Matt's, I thought were like.
Oh yeah, Matt's.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
So Matt's, his virility is immediately on display. He's making his young girlfriend feel his hard cock before they entered the dinner party. Legend. Who's been there?
In the dinner party is the real baller move.
Yeah.
No, that's an inappropriate thing to do.
Really? I do that all the time. Okay, moving
That's
on.
alpha. That's an alpha move. You're like, that's alpha of you.
Moving on. So the first part of that we see of the dinner is the wife cleaning up after dinner, which is part of her traditional gender role. And the husband is sort of flirting-ish or having a lively conversation with the blonde woman. What's her name?
Fanny.
Fanny. And as he's getting along with this young woman that his friend Mats has brought along, this is when the wife, Ebba, interrupts their conversation very aggressively and says, hey, guess what happened to us the other day? Right? Remember this? Yeah. And then what occurs in this iteration of going through everything?
A very John move. Oh, wait, this is
What's the John move?
No, he plays a video game later.
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, that's later. But that's funny.
I was like, this is not. Well, she spills her guts. Like, she really, like, says everything.
Says everything.
And how she's feeling and, like, what it means for their relationship. And, like, she gets really detailed. And so you really,
really airing her grievances.
Like, inappropriately so, obviously. Like, you don't do this to guests.
Well, I think they're very comfortable with his friend, Maxie. Not the girl.
Mats.
Matsy, not Maxie from the Goofy movie. But I think she's comfortable around him. It seems like they've known him for a while. The young girl, I think they just don't view her as the same mature mindset, so they don't really care what they say in front of her.
Maybe, yeah, okay.
But Thomas, he kind of shuts down during this.
Yes, his body language is aggressive at this stage, like a scolded toddler.
Yeah. He's looking. This is beta right here.
Yes, he's looking beta. Matt's the alpha in the room is taking every chance he can to defend Thomas,
Which
I
that's
would say.
bro move. He's a good friend.
Yeah, he's a good bro. He's
Alpha
really
move.
trying hard.
Alpha move.
But the problem is trying to convince someone of something like this is, I think, a tough battle. What do we think?
So
Well, she's
I like the historical evidence of fight or flight that Matt's brought up.
Oh, right. He brings up like a boat and something
That's
else.
the Estonia, which this is an insane shipwreck. You should look up on YouTube on your own time. But it's in the 90s, and this ferry, a passenger ferry, like rolled over within minutes and trapped like 800 people underneath in the cabin on its way from Estonia to Sweden. And it's like deadlier than the Titanic, and it happened in the 90s. And this is a huge deal to Swedish history. And
well,
like,
what happened to the people?
they all got trapped, but like some of them were escaping before it flipped over, and they're literally like pushing each other aside. Like the idea of women and children first was just tossed aside, and that's what he said. Like the horrors that people went through, and like they trampled over each other, and it didn't matter. It's just survival, and
Yeah.
that's it. It brings into it at the end of the day, and it's not just movie theory. Like real life, people will just fight for survival, and this would be. You know, you could even go back to if we ever do a Holocaust movie, this would be an interesting like basis of fight or flight, like what people were willing to do to survive.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah,
we
he
should do a
definitely takes like an
Holocaust movie.
evolutionary angle, I would say, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
the primal instinct.
He says something about heroes as well, which I thought was very interesting.
I love the hero talk.
I don't
He
remember what he
says
said.
we have all these images of heroes and they set unrealistic expectations for what we're
A lot
supposed to
of
do in
pressure on
moments like this.
A lot of
I
pressure
think
on
that that's him talking about toxic masculinity, perhaps,
Mm.
to once again loop in the sexual politics of everything.
Yes.
But I thought that was a crazy line. Like, that was a really interesting line from him.
That dinner scene alone could be used for so many like teaching lessons, I feel like.
Like
It's a
what?
great scene.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Yeah, you know, you talk about the heroic archetypes. You're
Yeah.
showing the body language of people shutting down of them. Like, I think that's when Thomas goes through his reality check of like, oh my gosh, I've been lying to myself.
Mm,
I think
mm.
that's when it occurs, and then he holds it in front of his friend, but then you know what we'll talk what happens later.
Yeah.
I feel like
But that's his bazing moment.
like Matt's makes good points, but it's like wasted breath, right? Like she is
Yes.
she's already certain of how she feels and like what it meant to her. So I don't know.
Right, because then after that, she basically admits that she's mad that she's a mother and he gets to go out and do his work life and personal life and that sort of thing.
It is nice.
It was crazy. And it felt like she was really humiliating him.
Yeah, that
bringing
was
this
a
up.
emasculating moment. Like she was
Yeah.
emotionally castrating him in front of his, I assume, best male friend.
Yeah.
You should put him in a beta box. You know, it's when you make someone a beta.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do it every day on this podcast. to Jared, put him in the beta box.
The beta
And then a major piece of evidence comes out, which is also sort of a parallel to the teacher's lounge. What happens? What do we learn?
Oh, I don't know what you're going at.
There's a video of the incident.
Oh, on the phone, yes.
Yes, he filmed it, which was
Oh, yeah.
crazy. That's a crazy reveal, and it proves that Ebba's version of events once and for all is the correct one.
I got teacher's room vibes from this.
Oh my god, I literally just said that, John.
He doesn't pay attention.
Sorry,
to
I'm ADHD. Wait, can I say it? What else I got vibes of this from?
Yeah, go for it.
Film scholar Rashomon, because it's sort of like the retelling of the same event and how people have different perceptions of how things occurred. Sorry.
Unfortunately, that is a 5 out of 5 film scholar take to make up for the ADHD moment. That was crazy, John. That was good.
Very good.
What Marvel phase is that in?
That's good. I honestly didn't think about that. Okay. It does raise the question, why does he not delete the video? Like, he has video proof of his beta-ness on his phone and he doesn't delete it, which is pretty crazy.
Do you think he even looked at it since?
Probably not.
Yeah, that's a good question. He could have probably totally forgot about it. Also, I don't understand how his phone was set down on the table while he was filming. Wait, that's confusing. Now we have
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Because, wow, he was filming it the whole time. Then for some reason, they put it on the table. No one would do that.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly what.
Yeah, we just kind of found an issue with that part, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think the
I
evidence
think it's
is
very
damning?
cute how Max tries to help his friend out. And here's the next discussion question: would you try to prove, John? Would you try to prove Jared's masculinity to his significant other? And Jared, would you try to prove John's masculinity to your significant, to his
I
significant
would.
other? You
Jared
would,
wouldn't,
John?
because I'm a good fucking person.
You wouldn't.
I would support you because I want to make sure that you get out of this. Whatever I want the abuse to end. Whatever you're going.
So you think you have to make him seem more masculine so the beating stops?
Maybe it's not even masculine. I would say it's like being able to at least defend himself.
Yeah, yeah. And John, you're saying you would help Jared out, or you would not?
Sure, I would.
Wow.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay. Could have used
I
you.
think it's a good friendship test to like. Would you like kind of like try to help your boy out with his girl if his girl?
Well,
is
you
starting
always
to,
say
like, have
yes, but it's
second
like you
thoughts?
have to be like the situation has to occur. You know, it is one of those nut up or shut up sort of things.
Bros
Oh, so
before.
this situation is like. Why does it say reconnecting?
I
Did it
think
say
we're good.
reconnecting?
I'm fine.
Yeah, we're good.
Fuck. So this situation then is like the avalanche itself. You don't know if you would support your friend until it
Yeah.
happens. You don't know if you would run until the avalanche happens. Okay.
Yeah, because it kind of it's foisted on him. Like he doesn't have
It's
time to think about it, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then this is a moment when the blonde woman who Jared's previously suggested isn't being taken seriously says what is perhaps the main thesis of the film, in my view. She suggests that it's actually a gender difference between male and female of who would run away in an avalanche situation, who would abandon the kids, who would stay. Basically saying that men have these different pursuits that they care about, and women are only there to support the family. And she thinks that the macho Mats would do the same thing as his beta buddy, which is run as well because he's of the same generation of men, which are perhaps marginally better than their fathers, but still not yet like the reformed male who cares about his family, who cares about others. What do we think? Do you agree with me that this is actually perhaps the film's point? Do you agree with this point? What do you make of this very strange moment where the timid girl says something very strong?
It's in my top 3 moments of the film.
Whoa.
Yes. I have 3 of them. We've already gone through 2, and we'll get to the third one here later. I think the general's point is spot on, that this crosses multiple cultures and societies of who stays with the children and is more sedentary, while the primal instincts of the man is to run and live for another day, to whatever it may be, spreading his seed or yearning to get the prey. And I think we even have the modern example of this. Who remembers during our current Biden administration's evacuation of Afghanistan?
Not really. I didn't follow
JD
that
Vance
closely.
coming.
I have a video I'd like to share.
No
Are you
way.
gonna show them the guys falling off of the babies thing?
Wait. Yes.
Wait, I actually have no idea where this is going.
You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
I can
is
see
what
it.
I thought was gonna be.
Yeah. Look who is all running
Full
for
screen it.
these flights. I'll full screen it. You see any children? Women?
No.
Not really.
Yeah. And this is where they thought the city of Kabul was being taken over.
God, that was crazy.
It's all military age men. And this is nothing. I'm not trying to go against the Afghans. This is desperation. Everyone thought they're about to be taken political prisoner. And the worst of the worst would happen to them. It stopped sharing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And lo and behold, that's just a couple years ago. And were they helping, the idea of the chivalrous women and children first to the lifeboats? That did not exist. And we'll get to the women and children at the lifeboats later on.
Okay, interesting.
Now think about
And
that.
then what do you think about the generational angle as well? Because she says like your fathers would be even worse, and your sons basically will be better.
I don't know. I think that's an optimism of a young person thinking that way.
Oh,
But
okay, yeah.
yeah,
Because I think my father would be better at it than I would be.
she brings up this Philip or whatever. Is Philip like a boyfriend or a brother of hers? I was kind of confused.
Yeah, very hard to tell.
I think
Yeah,
it was her brother
she
or
was saying
like cousin or something. It was
Philip
her
would act better than uh
Than
Maddie.
Thomas.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, and Matt's, yeah.
Matt's. Yeah,
And that makes Matt's really mad.
pisses him off because Matt's takes his masculinity with pride.
Yeah.
A beard like that, you did not just grow that to like try to have a warm face. You
Yeah.
grew that to send a message.
Yeah. Yeah.
And perhaps going back to even the idea of like a military age male, that hero archetype is potentially more relevant to them because she brings up like younger people don't have as much to live for. They don't know what they have to live for. They don't
Mm.
have the children, so they're willing to do the heroic or reckless things, and jump on top of people to save them in an avalanche or go into a field of fire. And I might go into a little bit of like the reasons why like the draftee age is like 18 to 28, not all these people with families.
Okay. Yeah. John, what do you think about this little part?
I mean, I think it is like sort of the crux. I agree with you, Danny. Like it's
Okay.
the crux of the film, the thesis almost, like this generational shift in parental responsibility, and it like reflects the broader societal dialogue um on like values, on like family values and priorities almost.
Yeah.
I mean, what's there to say? I agree with her.
Okay.
Shit.
Shit.
She was
And no one,
based for saying that. Like we thought she was stupid, but she's actually pretty mature based on her thinking.
or she
Well,
just
it's also interesting that she waits to give that opinion and to kind of dunk on the masculinity of her man until what's different between her and this approach and Ebba's approach, she does it in private.
yes, which maybe
Yeah.
shows more maturity than Ebba's.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe
does
the
not take
younger
it.
generation is better.
He does not take it well.
Does not take it well. And so part of the transition between ski day 3 and ski day 4 is them up all night in bed, basically yelling at each other. Well, he's yelling at her and she's kind of like, can we just go to bed?
Yeah. Have you guys ever done this? Like fought through the night about something?
It's nice to have multiple rooms in your house where you can just go to another room.
Interesting. I definitely have had a fight. Like I've had many fights like
we
that.
know, Danny.
And it sucks because like you're always like, I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
But like you can't.
Do you
Go to bed
And then
angry.
every time you think you're about to go to bed, it starts
Yeah,
up again.
I don't like the go to bed angry sort of thing. I think there
Sometimes
has
you
to
just got to
be-
go to bed. It's just like being hangry.
I think Jared's right here. I think sometimes you just got to go to bed. It gets so much worse when you're sleep deprived and you want to go to bed and you're angry.
True.
Yeah. Okay, so ski day 4.
Yes, yes. We see Ebba wake up hungover. She was apparently drunk, and during the conversation the night prior, and the kid like the boy says like, "Mommy, you smell like wine," which I think was very funny.
I laughed so hard.
And then more bad parenting. She immediately gives the kid ice cream because she slept in, and the
Big
kids
John
haven't
Wick
skied.
moment of him eating ice cream in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
dang.
I like chocolate.
Yeah, all right, cut it. Big Tim Apple moment of eating ice cream.
You
in
can
Puerto
say
Rico.
my name. I don't care. Did you say my full name?
Did.
He said government.
Brother.
And then we see Thomas and Matt's skiing together. We see screaming occur at the top of the mountain, right?
I like that.
Yeah, that's
Sometimes
a good way to like get your feelings out.
I thought an avalanche was going to happen then.
That would have been funny. Yeah.
It would have been.
The screaming, of course, very reminiscent of the teacher's lounge where they do the screaming exercise as a class.
Yeah.
Something about the Europeans advocating for screaming as therapeutic is very odd.
Because they
Well,
don't know
half the
enough.
continent sat silent last century.
Yeah.
And the reason they scream is because Thomas, they're like about to ski, and Thomas goes, "Can we just talk instead of ski?" to like his big masculine friend, which is so like dudes hanging out alone type behavior to be like, actually such a what's the word? Vulnerable person.
Yeah.
Can
Even
just talk.
if they snuck like a beer out in their ski jackets, that's what you do on those ski trips.
Yes, it is. The only time I skied, I had a beer in my pocket, and then I fell on it, and then I had a crazy bruise. Yeah. They scream. I would describe this screaming as impotent male rage, perhaps, to continue the sexual politics angle. How do we feel about that?
Yeah, it's beta scream.
And we see more of this impotency of males at the ski bar.
Love the ski bar.
Do you want to talk us through it, Jared? Or maybe John should, so he doesn't watch too much baseball?
No, I mean, I like this scene. This was a funny scene to me.
What did you like about it?
The fact that they like these ladies are like, oh, my friends, they think you're super cute over there. And then he's like, oh, thank you. And then like 2 minutes later, she's like, oh, actually, we were talking about someone else. It's like, that is the rudest thing. Like, just don't go back and correct them.
Yeah.
You get a drink thrown at you.
And then the alpha like gets mad. Like,
Yeah, they like.
are you playing a joke on us? Is this a joke?
Yeah.
I like so good.
I
And
was
then they laugh about it at the end, which is funny. Like they sort of.
I was really confused on the reason for the camera angle at that because then like they had like a faceless person come calm him down. Did you notice that?
I think it was just an interesting shot. It was like good.
Yeah. But Danny, I thought you were that would have been a very much your move if someone did that to us at a bar.
Yeah, I'd be pissed. It's so fucking rude. But I think that scene,
because you think that they're doing it on purpose to be little bitches.
Yeah, like potentially. Yeah, I'm with you.
Just to like get a rise out of the betas.
Really Sorry, what?
No, go.
I think that scene really captured like a very specific male experience of like sitting in a bar with another dude and you're like wanting the female gaze and you're like wishing that you were cooler than you are and you're wishing the bar itself was a cooler vibe than it is. Like there's like this blasting bad EDM, right?
No,
and
weekly.
You're like hoping to be cool and you're like hoping to have this male moment.
Right.
And like you wish you were partying, but really you're just like some guy sitting there in like an elastic waistband drinking a beer.
I think this is building into Thomas's big emotional release that goes in later because I think he looks up to Matt as like being the guy, just like how Eva looks at her friend who's like an adulterer or had the poly friend. Who he's like
Catholic just slipped out there with the adulterer instead of Holly.
Fridays, don't commit the cardinal sins, man. But
continue that point though. That was interesting.
So he has this 20-year girlfriend, and he's like, oh, Matt's is like probably living life, like dating young chicks, going on like cool trips and all that, kind of living life free. Doesn't have he has kids, right, as well, which they mentioned some stuff earlier.
Oh, right, yes.
But he like sees Matt's as having that freedom that they mentioned so often. But I think Thomas kind of comes to reality of like, oh, they're at this bar without his wife, and like it's kind of a sad life, you know. It's not a cool bar. You're not being based upon by every girl, and people kind of just don't care who you are.
Yeah,
not cool, and you're trying to. You can't really relive those glory days that they both maybe think of.
Yeah. Crushed it, Jared.
Thank you.
Danny, yeah, that was good.
Thank you. I've been good this episode.
Danny, I agree with your point where it's like I don't think I've been in this situation, but like not exactly.
You just don't know it.
I mean,
that they're
no, but that's a feeling. That scene.
It's a feeling. I feel like we maybe even had that in Puerto Rico.
Oh yes, we did have that in Puerto Rico, and they just try to pickpocket you.
But yeah, I do think, John, I'm with you. Like, there are moments in life where you're like at a bar and you're like, this really isn't that cool, but I'm supposed to be feeling like I'm in a movie right now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And then weird moment.
Ice cream.
No.
A weird moment then after this is that he returns to the hotel room and there's a sticker on the door.
I was so confused by that. What was that?
The little kid put it there.
What was the sticker
thing?
Yeah, what was it? A hedgehog? A squirrel?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think it was like a squirrel or like an acorn. I thought it was a pineapple at first, and I was like, "Whoa, this movie's taking a twist."
I'm Googling it.
Anyone have any ideas?
No. Was it the janitor, you think?
I think it's the janitor. That's my theory.
Oh.
Maybe it's an acorn. He's like, you're nutty.
People aren't talking about this on the internet.
While we're on this internet search, anyone know that there's a Will Ferrell remake of this?
Yes, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Maddie wanted to watch this with me because she's like, "Oh, Will Ferrell's in it," and I'm like, "I don't think he's in this."
With
And
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
And we got like halfway through, and she's like, "I'm like, this is not the same movie."
Yeah.
I did no idea. She watched it with you? That's good. I'm actually happy to hear that.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Yeah, they're
we
watching.
should watch because they make it like just a pure comedy, apparently.
Ugh.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what's it called? I forgot.
It's called Downhill.
Downhill.
Yeah. All right,
Okay.
let's keep rolling.
So after the bar scene, there's a weird cut. It's very similar actually to Cat in the Hat, where there's all of a sudden this nightlife scene. Remember this?
Yeah, the
You think
club.
it's like
Thomas
the
is-
club.
Thomas is locked out of the room. He's standing outside calling his wife, and a huge group of dudes run by. All dudes. They run. He's in a club with them. Many of them are shirtless. They're all yelling, and they're partying. It's very homoerotic, dare I say?
Yes.
What do we think about that?
Oh, it's all a metaphor of what he wishes he was doing right now, and that's that masculine that all these men are just letting out this rage and emotion, chugging beer and being bros.
Yeah, I agree. It
Disagree
really
with something.
No, your takes are too good.
Thank you. That's
This like scene really reminded me of Triangle of Sadness. Like I feel like there was very similar vibes at points during that movie.
Okay.
Which makes sense because the same director.
Yeah, same director.
But yeah, what did you think, Danny? Is he like trying to get in touch with his masculine primal rage, or is it something else?
Yeah, I wrote patriarchal male fantasy world. But it's interesting how it's like really gay.
Yeah.
Like it's like so gay.
And don't they like cough and like stop for a second, or like they
Yeah,
stop screaming at some point and then they
Yeah.
Do you notice like the one dude chugging beer and throwing up immediately in it?
Not really.
It was really weird.
And then the wife, he gets home from that whatever that was, and the wife lets him in. It turns out she was there the whole time. They just went to the pool or something, right?
Yeah.
And then the wife is on the phone having a conversation about wanting to like mess around outside of her relationship in front of Thomas, which is like so out of like beyond out of pocket. I wrote down that he's getting cucked basically in every way other than sexually in this film. And I'm wondering, here's the question, boys. You ready? John?
Yep.
Green, put it away.
I'm hearing you.
Would you rather be cucked physically, sexually, or cucked in the way he's been cucked, which is emotionally, familially, fantasized about? Which would you rather? Which version of cucking? What he goes through, or just getting cheated on?
I think the first one because it's tangible.
Physically?
Yeah, there's like you can witness it.
You want to witness it?
No.
Dude, the fuck?
But it's an action. Like I feel like actions can be explained and rationalized and maybe not the way that emotional is, because emotional is like it's more thought out.
Yeah, there's like a smaller. I'm actually in agreement with John. I would rather be physically cucked than what this guy is going through.
So,
And my reason is that like
seared in your brain.
What was that, Jared?
That image is like seared in your brain.
No, I don't want to view it. I don't want to view it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I would rather be cheated on than go through what Thomas is going through here. I think.
I think
because like people can be horny, people can make mistakes sexually, but like to go through what Thomas is going through is like a complete breakdown.
And boy, does he break down! Oh my god!
Because he's in the
Jared,
world.
How would you rather be cucked? You would rather be cucked?
I'd rather do the world of what ifs rather than the world of something you can never take back.
So you would rather be Thomas?
I'd rather be Thomas in this situation because he can stop the situation from happening. And maybe that's like part of what she's playing mind games with him to like see like he's about to lose his family in multiple ways. Like the kids are upset with him, I'm upset with him, and like I might go make mistakes or may not make mistakes, but do actions that I can never take back. And that's partially probably why. It's like she's just showing red flags to like see if she can get a reaction and see how he will
Yes.
change.
Yes. I definitely think she's trying to get a
Like
reaction.
if she were to go out and hook up with whatever like that night and be like, "Hey, I did this," like I think that's a line that would be crossed, and Thomas would be like a type of a person who'd never forgive potentially.
Yeah. I think that this scene really is like a big part of the sexual politics angle that I've been trying to push, and I think it like anticipates the second. Like this is 2014, right? And now we're in 2024, where the New York Times magazine has like an article every month about polyamory and that sort of thing, right? Like that's much more in our consciousness now than it was in 2014. And I think male impotence is a much bigger deal now than it was in 2014. Like Andrew Tate was not popping off in 2014.
Yeah.
And now he is. And so I think, I don't know, I think it's very interesting the way that this movie like sort of like predicts what is to come in some ways.
Yeah, that's true.
Or they're just European, and this like a lot of those cultural norms are a decade or two ahead of Americans.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's hard to say.
I think that's what it is.
And so then now comes the breakdown, which John just alluded to. Thomas is crying in the hallway of the hotel. Once again, they're in the hallway of the hotel.
Terrible guest.
Terrible guests. What do you think about the crying? Is it a ploy to get her back?
He's
By
hamming
being
it up.
even
He's
by
hamming it up.
being even more impotent? Yeah. You think he's hamming it up, John?
But then it becomes real. But like at the
Yes.
beginning, she's like, "You're not even crying."
Yeah.
And
I think
then
you're right.
he sort of works himself up. It's sort of like a child again, where
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
work yourself up to get angry and upset.
I think I think it started off like a child tantrum and then turned into realistic.
And then
emotional
he went too far where he couldn't go back. Like he couldn't reel it in, and he becomes ultimate beta,
Yeah,
curled
he's
up,
like absolutely sobbing.
curled up in a ball
in front of
the
his
room,
kids.
in front of his kid. You cannot do that in front of your children. Are you kidding me?
When was the last time you saw your parents cry?
Not like that.
Yeah, I've never seen my parents cry like that. I see
That
them
would
cry at
literally
like
be like,
movies or if someone dies.
Oh, yeah,
That would-
I was gonna say I've seen some grief cries, not in a similar way where it becomes very physical.
I mean,
Right,
that
but I've
is
never
like,
seen like breakdown.
if my father cried like that, I'd be going on father.com looking for a new dad. You know, like that shit would not fly.
But part of the reason he ends up like crying like this is because he feels like it's a major personal failing that's been shown. He says like he's become a victim of his own instincts. He says he's a liar in business as well. He hates his life. Like
Oh.
it starts to erode his entire identity.
I think the internal conflict he's having there is probably something a lot of people can relate to that are, mid late 30s, overworked, or work is their life, and they're just going through the motions.
Right. Society says as a man, like you need to work, you need to provide, then you'll be happy, you'll have this happy family.
That's their hero, and then he didn't live up to the actual hero aspect of saving a family.
Think.
Mm.
One question here. We already did one of them, which was how often do you cry? How often did your dad cry in front of you? But here's a follow-up. How often do you cry in front of your girl?
Movies pretty. I mean, I get emotional during films, so quite a few.
I have at least probably one good cry every year and a half, maybe.
I mean,
Such
I
a
actually
Jerry answer.
sort of. I agree. That's a good number. I think.
At least once a congressional term.
I mean, I don't cry as much as I used to, which is upsetting.
I hope not, dude. That was weekly for the calls we got.
I definitely cry. I'm with John.
Jim Valvano says you have to cry and shit every day, so might as well.
I hope I'm not crying as much as I should. I'm not getting any work done.
Wait, what did you say, Danny?
I'm like you, John. I cry at a movie in front of my girl at least once a week.
I'm not at once a week, brother. Tame it back there, beta.
But it's not like sobbing. It's like, like one tear.
Yeah, like wipe away.
Cat in the Hat, did you cry in?
No. And then the dog. Sorry.
Any movies we've reviewed previously, you shed a tear?
No.
I think I probably cried during On Body and Soul. And I did watch that with my girl.
Not on Gran Torino when he sacrificed himself.
No, I did not cry
Said
during Gran
Zipperhead.
Sad.
And as we said, he's crying in a ball. The children are hugging him. The daughter asks what's wrong with him, which is brutal. Asking your mom, like your kid asking your wife what's wrong with you as you're crying in a ball. Brutal. And then
Such a beta. I can't believe how much
the
of a
kids
beta.
force the mom to join in on comforting him, which she doesn't want to do. And basically,
Yeah.
we've watched a family fall apart in 4 days' time, which is pretty impressive.
So the kids are almost like repairing the relationship.
I would say that's very much true. But at the end, it's like the kids are also falling apart. They're not really like they're the impetus for the repair, but they're not actually the ones that are able to do it. And eventually, the mom has to step in and hold it all together, just like during the avalanche. I would
Kids
say.
are like glue. It can help bond it together and
Uh-huh.
keep things that are pulling apart still together, but you still have to have an external force to really compact it.
Ah, could have been reading some parenting books.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Because he's got a little one on the way.
Little J.
Baby J. And now we enter ski day 5, the final day. And there's a silent family ski lift ride, another awkward ski lift, a good motif picked up by, I don't remember who it was, maybe J-Red.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dangerous conditions. There's low visibility.
It's
little
also a really
spooky.
awkward ski lift ride. Like, it's awkwardly quiet, I felt. Because
Like,
the dad just revealed himself to be a beta.
It's always
Right.
And you got to get your money's worth on the ski trip
True. And they really haven't been. They have not been skiing that much.
as a family.
Yeah, definitely not as a family. And so Thomas is, because of the low visibility, Thomas goes first to scope it out. He's leading the group.
Or abandoning them.
Or abandoning them.
No, he's a leader. He's leading.
And the
Mom's in
mom
the
kind of
back.
disappears for a moment.
Yep.
And Thomas is like, Eppa, 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 right? Remember this?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Thomas leaves the kids behind to go find her, right?
Yep.
Which I was like, fuck, the kids are
Dumb
dead.
move. Dumb move.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah.
The kids are
Don't
left
leave
behind.
the kids on their own. It's like, did he learn nothing?
Apparently not. And then the kids begin to yell for their father, right? They're like, oh my God, Papa, or whatever.
This gives me anxiety. Like, I was a kid who did not like to be left alone, like at a Target. Like, I would have a little bit of a breakdown. So I really
Crying a ball.
Yeah.
Um,
I was the kid who had to go up to the register and like they had to make the announcement and find the parent.
Excuse me, we've lost a boy with an iPad stapled to his hand.
I didn't have an iPad actually. Funnily enough. How old do you think I am?
And so the kids start to feel their reliance on him again, I would say, because they're like, oh my God, where's our Papa, right? And then Thomas reemerges triumphantly, holding Ebba in his arms.
Yep.
Here's my question. Did she plan it?
Yes, I was going to say
Did he?
She planned that to make him gain his masculinity again. She's like,
but she couldn't have planned the weather.
They also lost the security deposit on those skis. They left without those.
Okay,
that's not important.
Yes,
I think that
it's like $1,000.
I think that I think she did. I mean, yeah, you're right. She didn't know about the weather, but I think she found an opportunity like I can make him the man again. And so got lost on purpose and like hung back and pretended like she needed help. And then she got carried and like thus like saving the family and reestablishing the roles, the gender norms.
Yeah. Jared?
I don't know if it was planned. If so, that's some psychotic behavior because like those were actually dangerous conditions to do that in.
Well, she maybe wasn't that far away and she knew that she needed to save her family, right?
While putting the children at risk.
They weren't going to be at risk, I think, is her.
It's so easy to get lost in that shit.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, so no secret here, but I am in agreement with John's take there, his read, and my follow-up question is, you ready for this one?
Yeah.
This is like when Jared goes on his conservative rants. Here's mine, except it's a question. How much of our social world is elaborate plots to make men feel like men again?
Well, that's what we live in, a male-dominated society. Like the whole world is set up like that.
I think a lot of craft beer culture was designed for that.
That's so true.
Like, oh, I know this flavor of beer. Shut up. You don't
And,
know.
and like sports betting.
Yeah.
No. Do you not learn anything from the last Boy Scout?
It's true. Yeah, John, I'm with you actually. I think like our entire social, like the whole system is
Like
basically ways to make
sports.
men feel like they just went out and hunted and gathered,
Yeah.
you know?
Like sports. Like
Yeah,
everybody gets a
sports.
team. Everyone's a tribe, and everybody gets to be a winner.
Fantasy football, you could say, is like to help people feel like they're masculine for all these unathletic dudes stuck behind a screen, make them feel like they're on the field.
Well, like think about the way that like for example, like high-speed stock trading is like kind of like it's this like fast-paced speculative male-dominated activity that's like done in these big rooms where people are shouting at each other and everything,
Oh, you're
and it's
talking.
all to cover the fact that it's like
I don't think
actually
they
just
really
like
yell and like scream anymore. Like that's not really
okay,
happening.
but like the whole thing is like it's like meant to like create this atmosphere where we feel like we are doing things that men do, but
Yeah.
really we're not. Like we're
It
just
is
kind of like
crazy to
email
think about.
monkeys,
That is
you know?
crazy to think about. It is like the same scene of like cavemen killing a gazelle and like
Yeah.
cheering and celebrating around it.
Do you think like all these DIY projects? Because I'm in the mode of like some home improvements the past couple months, and I do feel a little more masculine after each one. But like at the end of the day, like all I did was like lay carpet. All I did was put some planks of wood in, and I mulched. Like none of this is skillful, but it made me feel more manly afterwards. I got dirty and sweaty.
Yeah.
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 It's true. I've
Yeah.
never really thought of the world like
You
that,
change
but
your wiper blades on your car. You feel a little bit more manly.
oh, when I put air in my tire, I'm like, hell yeah, I like did a man thing. Made sure the car had tire in the wheels. I'm gonna go
So
get
I'm
some
not sure if I'm
chickens.
like outing myself here, but I don't know that I like think that much about masculinity.
No, I don't think I do
Like
either.
if I do a task like you guys just described, my thought is more so like, oh, I'm an adult or oh, I'm a competent person. I can like
Right.
do things. I'm so smart. But I'm never like I
You're
don't even know. I
adulting.
can't even think of an activity that I do that's masculine to be honest with you. But like
Once you get
I,
this home in 2 to 3 years, pending your statuses, um, we
yeah, maybe.
maybe
Maybe.
Yes.
I think home purchasing and living with your significant other changes some of that
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's like it is just adulting. But like, do we see it differently in a male lens versus like how
Oh
a
yeah,
female would
that's
see it?
interesting.
Expectation, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you there. And so then to wrap things up, we're on the bus trip out of the mountain.
Vacation is almost over. It's the way home.
And the Mats seems like he's losing his girl. She's texting someone else on the ride out, and he's kind of trying to peek over her shoulder. Guys, fellas, you ever been there?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why I take the phone away.
And then the bus driver is very dangerous. And who is it that speaks up?
Ebba,
Ebba.
Ebba, not Thomas. And so perhaps nothing has changed after all after the famous redemption scene that we just discussed. Um, and then they're all starting to like get a little bit scared. The group gets scared because Ebba's kind of creating this feeling of like, oh my god, this bus driver is really bad. And what happens then?
Everybody get
she yells at the bus driver and says, I need off. And then
Right, and then
the entire bus, except her one friend, who's the Polly woman,
uh-huh.
gets off the bus, which this is like 40 people.
Does she stay on the bus, the Polly person?
Yeah.
Yes, the poly woman
Oh, I
stays
didn't
on.
realize.
But an important intermediate part of that is that the Game of Thrones guy, Maddie, creates civility and try to lives up to what he spoke about earlier in the film. He's
Yeah.
like,
Calm
hey,
down.
everyone calm down, women and children first, right? Like he's hamming it up because
Oh,
he
he's
knows his
totally
girl is
hamming it
texting
up.
someone else.
He
Yeah.
realized he was like, oh, here's my shot.
And then
Yeah.
Thomas kind of just Thomas supported his wife. I thought though, did not undermine because I was waiting for
Right,
him.
but he's still beta, I feel like, in that moment.
He supported, got off with her, and took the kids and didn't fight back. I think that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And
What do we think it means that the poly woman stays behind?
I mean, it's like her whole like life motto is she just throws caution to the wind. She does what she wants. She's an individual. She's not worried about anything.
Like that bus is getting down that mountain. It's just going to take time.
Yeah, yeah.
Although, have you guys ever been on a scary bus ride like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I was thinking about, Jared, actually?
What?
When we took that bus to Delphi.
I slept on a lot of that.
Okay. Never mind.
Bad.
That was when
Dude,
we were hungover. Yeah, it was very
Danny's like-
windy.
Danny's like, stop the bus! Stop the bus!
Back to Athens.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank goodness that was all downhill.
But the whole point of her running off, right, is like she runs off without the kids. She just goes off first.
Wait.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I didn't even catch that.
Whoa. Good
So
job, Tim.
How'd you not
Wow.
catch? I thought that was the whole point. Like she runs off the bus, like
I
without
was
the
caught up
family,
in the
without
moment
check.
of her like causing a scene. I did not put that
No,
together.
she's the first one off the bus. It's literally the same thing that he had done with the avalanche, but she's doing with the bus.
Which kind of proves the force majeure thing, which is you never know until it happens.
Yup.
Damn.
Good.
That's good.
The ending kind of just changed a little bit because of that.
Yeah, I think I have to recalibrate as well.
I do love
And
it.
it's also funny that, sorry, one more thing. It as I think one of you just mentioned, it ends up being that the bus gets down the mountain just fine, and so it's a final twist in the whole sexual politics. I think because it seems like it was safe after all, which suggests that maybe this was just female hysteria.
Yeah, I was really hoping where someone said, "Calm down, lady." I wish that was a comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
She does ask like for the driver to drive more carefully, please. Very European. I swear I've been on so many like train rides where it's like, can you be quiet, please? It's like sounds polite, but you can tell they're a little frustrated.
Yeah. And then they're walking down the mountain, and Ebba asks Mats to carry the daughter, not Thomas. You guys pick up on that? Very funny. The Alpha still taking control there. And
He holds
Thomas.
Harry's hand.
What?
He holds Harry's hand, his son. His son's
Right, Harry, that's his name. And then Thomas smokes a cigarette after being offered one by a vaguely Eastern European man.
Yep.
And
the movie.
Harry asks Thomas, "Do you smoke?" And he says, "Yes."
And then it cuts to black.
Yeah.
Best ending.
Why? Because it's Sig.
It's Danny walking down the mountain. He's the one who freaks out on the bus and gets everyone off.
Yeah.
Do you think there's some symbolism there with him smoking?
I don't know, really. I think he's just like I would need a cigarette way earlier in the film.
I think
Yeah.
I took it as this, as like when do you have a cigarette often? Like for what reasons?
After sex, after a stressful moment, as a celebration when you're drunk.
I view it as that celebration / after a stressful moment of relief.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting that he says he smokes. Like it's almost like he's trying to rebrand his identity or something.
He's the cool dad.
Yeah, it's very interesting. What do you think, John?
I don't really know. I do kind of agree. I think.
Wow, hot take there.
Well, no, I think like smoking, you also do it like after a long day of work, and so maybe he saw that whole fucking vacation as like that was his work.
That vacation was work. Oh my gosh, I'd be scrambling to get back to the office after dealing with these fuckers.
Yeah.
And how far do you think they have to walk? Miles?
It seemed like a long the shot at the end.
Because it's not like that bus is just stopping at the bottom of the mountain. I'm sure it has another place to go. Also, like, is that guy just dropping their luggage off? You know, some people took their luggage with them, some didn't.
Yeah.
A lot of logistics need to be sorted out, and I wonder what the refund or credits are going to be from the resort. If this was
Well,
an
they're going to be forced to refund it, despite the fact that probably there was nothing wrong at all, and it was just one woman freaking out.
and what if that's how they normally have to go down that mountain? Like, you have to take
Right.
those turns like that.
Well, oftentimes, I think that is how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the end of our recap. Now I guess it's time for final thoughts. I weaved all my discussion questions in as throughout, but go ahead, feel free to shoot those out or just talk about your thoughts.
Now let's review. Let's give our reviews. Who goes first?
I feel like I haven't let off in a minute, so I'll go off.
No, wait, but you have the next movie, don't you?
Yeah, but the last
No,
person.
you go. No,
The person who goes last is me because
host.
I picked it. Yeah. So Jared just does the sign off.
Yeah. Next time, I guess you plan a family trip. You should try to leave the existential crisis at home. Is what I think.
Heyo.
Everyone has a family vacation where someone had a damn identity crisis or existential crisis that just tainted a whole location for them. Which this resort looks beautiful. So there's one thing I had. In terms of this being a good black comedy, it gave some good talking points, but to me, it moved way too slow for what it's worth. Considering nothing was that, like, I think revolutionary in its commentary. It did make me really think this polyamorous talk conversation that you brought up, Danny. So maybe that, I don't know if it was really aiming at that as much as one of its key points, but I'm glad we took that away from it potentially. But the whole toxic masculinity aspect of like gender politics, it's kind of like smeared in your face more than it needs to be. So it's they kind of point some stuff out as too obvious. So could have cut it down a bit. Yeah, in terms of would I recommend this? Sure. Did I think it's an insightful movie? Good. Did it piss me off with some like random VFX stuff and random cinematography that didn't make sense to me? Absolutely. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. I enjoyed it. It was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Almost as good as Cat in the Hat.
Not as good.
I'll go next. And I like thought about his other film when I was watching this. So Triangle of Sadness, thought it was pretty on par with that. Like I enjoyed Triangle of Sadness. I think the pacing this is a lot slower. It's like a slow burn, but like it was rewarding. Like there's some really great scenes that like pay off some stuff, and everything we've been talking about. I loved the whole, the whole thing, like the struggle between balance, the struggle between like family and self, like the sacrifices people make, and then everything we've said about like gender, how you identify in these modern relationships. I think it was really cool, and it's sort of on the nose, but like it's well done. It's it's very well done, and so I'm gonna have to give. Oh, and I also thought it was really pretty. Yeah, I thought it was shot really well. You didn't like the cinematography, but I thought like the shots, the composition was very nice.
It went
Except for
random POV at one point. So stupid.
Yeah, the POV on the top of the mountain was so bad.
That was bad.
Yeah, there's just some
It was
weird
like meaningless.
experimentation that just it upset me that they even let that in a final.
But like the pool shot is a great shot where it's like where they get cucked by those people.
Oh yeah.
Or I guess they're not at a pool. They're whatever.
They might be. I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, I like this. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. He thought he was gonna get a 5 out of this.
I'm trying to get a 5 out of you, John. Yeah, okay. So I like honestly, in terms of like film making, it really like I don't know if it really did it for me, to be honest with you. I did like you guys really noticed the VFX things. I did not. But I liked the shots of the mountains because it gives you the sense that like I mean the main part of the film is an avalanche, right? And remember in like middle school they're teaching you like these tropes about how literature functions and they're like man versus other, man versus nature, right?
Man
And
versus
so I
food.
think the mountain shots are really interesting because it makes and the avalanche itself is really interesting because it makes you think that it's a movie about man versus nature, but in fact it's a man versus himself type film. But the interesting thing about, of course, Maddie's explanation that Jared liked so much about the boat sinking is that the man versus self thing is really also man versus nature because of our evolutionary drives, our instincts that we're our victims of. You know what I mean? So I really like that part of it. And then, I mean, Jared, I don't know if the sexual politics thing is as smeared in your face in the movie itself or the way I presented it today,
I'm also
because
getting political ads every 20 minutes in the middle of this on Hulu and all.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
you're
so
broke.
that
Don't
definitely.
interrupt my rant for being broke. And so the sexual politics, I don't know if it's as blatant as you think it is, Jared, or if I just emphasized it that way in my talk through of it, but I really like it for that reason. I think it really speaks to our current moment of trying to understand what it means for both genders to be allowed to transcend and not just stay in their current position and maintain things. And the way that women being able to do that often ends up leading men to feel impotent and to dream of this all male world.
Mm.
So I really liked that. On first watch, which was earlier this year, I gave it a 3.5, and on second watch, I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Nice.
Nice. That's not. We all kind of had agreements on there. Oh, well, that's good. Would we like to transition to our next fishy film?
Yep.
No fish in this film, by the way.
Oh yeah, no fish. I thought Sweden.
Oh, they had
definitely
some sushi.
Did they?
I thought they had sushi. They had to eat some fish.
I didn't catch it, but we got to keep our eyes sharp for
Yeah,
fish.
yeah. Keep the.
There's
scope.
been like no fish. What movie have we seen with fish?
Cat in the Hat, the first one,
Yeah.
Crash. There were
Oh,
probably
yeah,
fish in the Hmong one.
Was the last Boy Scout had fish?
No, no fish in the Last Boy Scout.
Oh my gosh, people
The
slept.
Hmong one.
Well, Fishy
No.
Film Friday fans, I do want you to brace yourself. Next episode, we're going to be diving into a whole stage dive of a rock concert, also a buddy comedy that's 100% rocktacular. It's a story about the most epic quest in music history, where the fate of rock depends on the one magic guitar pick. That's right. We're going to do Jack Black's Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny. The legend, the myth, the movie that gave us rock gods JB and KG on a mission to become the greatest band in the world.
Yeah, KG got canceled.
He did.
Didn't
Yeah.
the band break up?
The band
Save it for the episode.
Because he wanted to kill Trump. He wanted to like eat Trump or something.
Oh, whoa. Yeah. So we're gonna do our first musical.
Great. I'm just glad you didn't pick Mamma Mia too.
I'm very close to doing Rocky Horror, but I figured that'd be a bit silly.
I wouldn't have anything to say about that trans trash.
And cut.
Look forward to seeing you in the next episode on Fishy Film Fridays.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thumbs up, subscribe. Don't flag, please.